The Galactic Council chamber was not built for comfort. It was built to impress, to intimidate, and to remind every being that walked through its doors that they were part of something much bigger than themselves. The room sat at the heart of the Concordia Station, a neutral space where species from across the known galaxy met to talk, trade, and sometimes threaten each other without starting a war. Today, it was packed. Alien delegates filled the curved seats arranged in a wide circle. Some had scales, some had fur, some had exoskeletons. A few didn't even sit. They hovered, or floated in tanks of liquid. All of them were watching one thing, the main entrance. A low hum sounded as the heavy doors slid open. Silence fell over the chamber like a blanket. Two humans stepped inside. They wore simple suits, dark blue with a small Earth flag stitched onto the left side. They did not look nervous. They did not look afraid. One was a woman named Lena Morris. The other was a man named Jake Daniels. They looked around slowly, taking in the room, the faces, the eyes watching them. No one said anything. Jake gave a small nod to someone he couldn't see. Lena took a step forward and spoke in clear, calm tones. "We are here on behalf of the United Nations of Earth," she said. "We come in peace." There was a pause. Then a deep voice rumbled from the far end of the room. "You are late." It was Catharzek, the reptilian warlord from the Zakari Dominion. His kind were known for their strength, their speed, and their hunger for battle. He stood taller than most others in the room, his golden armor glinting under the lights. His tail twitched slightly behind him. Lena turned toward him. "We apologize," she said. "Travel between stars is still new for us. We got here as soon as we could." A murmur passed through the room. Not all of it was surprise. Some of it was amusement. Tharzek tilted his head. "You come unguarded. No weapons, no translators, no data slates. Why?" Lena smiled just a little. "Because we trust our words more than our tools," Jake added, "and because we don't need extra help to say what we mean." That earned another quiet reaction. This time it was respect. From the center of the room, a tall insectoid delegate clicked his mandibles together sharply. "This is foolishness," he said. "Humans are primitive, violent, unpredictable. You have no place among us." Lena did not flinch. She turned to face him fully. "I understand your concern," she said, "but you're wrong." A ripple went through the crowd. She continued, "We are not perfect. We have made mistakes. But so has every species in this room. You all fought wars before you came here. You all killed before you learned how to talk." She paused, letting her words sink in. "But now we are here, and we want to learn." Jake stepped beside her. "We know we're new," he said. "But we also know things you might not expect." A female alien with violet skin and long, white hair leaned forward. Her name was Viren of the Thalkor. Her people were known for their intelligence networks, their spies, their secrets. "What do you know?" she asked. Jake looked at her. "We know the Zakari Dominion tried to hack the station's power grid 2 nights ago," he said calmly. "We know the Thalkor intercepted that message but didn't report it." Silence. Viren's eyes narrowed. Catharzek stiffened. Lena stepped in again. "We're not here to accuse anyone," she said. "We're here to show that we're paying attention, that we understand more than you think." Another alien spoke up. He was short and round, with 4 arms and red eyes. "You are weak," he said. "Your world is full of noise and chaos. You fight yourselves more than you fight others." Lena nodded. "That's true, we have problems, but we also solve them. Every day." Jake crossed his arms. "And we're not asking for favors," he said. "We're not here to beg for a seat at the table. We're here to show we already belong at it." A silence followed that lasted longer than the others. Then Catharzek moved. He stood straighter, his tail curling behind him. "You speak boldly," he said. "But bold words mean nothing if you cannot back them up." Lena met his gaze. "What would you have us do?" He took a slow step forward. "Prove you are not prey. The room tensed. Predators understood hierarchy. They respected strength. To them, showing fear meant showing weakness, and weakness meant death. But Lena didn't move back. Neither did Jake. They simply stood there, calm, steady, unafraid. Catharzek stopped a few feet away. He was close enough that Lena could see the tiny ridges along his snout, the sharp teeth behind his lips. He sniffed once, then again, then he stepped back. "I do not smell fear," he said. "That is rare." He returned to his seat. The tension in the room shifted. Varen watched Lena closely. "You are different," she said. "Not like the others who come here trying to hide their fear." Lena smiled slightly. "We're not hiding anything," Jake added. "We're just being honest." More murmurs spread through the chamber. One by one, the alien leaders began to respond, not with hostility, but with curiosity. Some asked questions. Others challenged the humans further, but none dismissed them outright. Lena and Jake answered everything, directly, honestly. They never raised their voices, never backed down. By the end of the session, the Council had not officially accepted Earth into the galactic community. But something else had happened. The Predators had tested the humans, and the humans had not run. In fact, they had stood their ground better than many expected. As they walked out of the chamber, the guards at the door gave them a slight nod. Behind them, the Council members stayed seated, talking in hushed tones. Tharzek turned to Varen. "They are strange," he said. Varen agreed. "Yes, but not weak," he grunted. "No, not weak." Back in the hallway, Lena and Jake walked side by side. "Well," Jake said after a moment, "that went better than I thought." Lena glanced at him. "You thought we'd get eaten?" Jake smirked. "Yeah, I really did." She shook her head. "We're not done yet." He looked ahead. "I know." They kept walking, their footsteps echoing softly against the metal floor. Somewhere above them, in orbit around the station, an Earth satellite watched silently, recording everything. Earth had taken its first step into the stars, and the galaxy was beginning to notice. Lena and Jake walked down the long hallway that led away from the council chamber. The lights above them were soft but steady, casting a quiet glow on the polished metal floor. Behind them, the heavy doors closed with a low hiss. They didn't speak at first. Jake let out a slow breath. "I think we did okay." Lena gave him a small smile. "We didn't get eaten. That's a win." He nodded, then looked at her. "But they're still watching us." She knew he was right. The moment they stepped into the room, every alien had studied them like animals in a zoo. Some saw them as prey. Others saw them as threats. A few saw something else entirely, something they couldn't quite understand. Now, after their first meeting, the Predators were not sure what to make of Earth's diplomats. They reached a waiting area with tall windows that looked out into space. Stars stretched endlessly beyond the glass. A small moon floated in the distance, gray and silent. A voice behind them said, "You surprised many in there." They turned. Varen stood a few feet away. Her violet skin shimmered under the lights. Her white hair was pulled back and her sharp eyes watched them closely. Lena gave a polite nod. "We hope to." Varen stepped closer. "Most humans are loud. They talk too much. They try too hard to be liked." Jake crossed his arms. "We're not here to be liked." "No," Varen said slowly. "That is clear." There was a pause before she added, "Catharzek respects strength. You showed it." Lena tilted her head. "He wanted to test us." "He always does," Varen said. "Few pass." Jake raised an eyebrow. "So, did we?" Varen didn't answer right away. She looked out the window for a moment, then back at them. "You did not run," she said. "That is rare, and you spoke without fear. Also rare." She leaned slightly forward. "But do not mistake respect for trust." "We won't," Lena said. Jake asked, "What now?" Varen gave a small smile. "Now, the real test begins." Later that day, Lena and Jake sat in a private meeting room with a few other human representatives. The room was smaller than the council chamber, but it was still built to impress. Dark walls, soft lighting, and a large table made of smooth blackstone. The others were already talking. "I told you they'd be tough," said Carl, one of the analysts. He wore glasses and kept checking a small screen on his wrist. "They weren't just tough," said Mia, another diplomat. "They were ready for us. They thought we'd be easy," Jake said, "like most new species." "They don't anymore," Lena said. Carl shook his head. "No, but now they want more." Mia looked at Lena. "You said some strong things in there. Too strong, maybe." Lena met her gaze. "I said the truth." "That's what worries me," Mia said. "Truth can scare people." Jake leaned forward. "It should. If they need lies to feel safe, they're not ready for what's coming." Carl sighed. "Look, we know you two are good. But we also have to play the game. We're not just here to talk, we're here to survive." Lena looked around the table. "We're not playing games," she said. "We're showing who we are." "And if that gets us kicked out?" Mia asked. Lena smiled. "Then Earth keeps watching. We keep learning. And when the next big threat comes, we'll be ready," Jake added. "Because it's not about this room, it's about what happens outside of it." There was silence for a moment. Then Carl said, "Well, I guess we'll find out tomorrow." The next morning, the council met again. This time, the mood was different. Some aliens still looked wary, but others looked curious. Ktharzek sat taller than usual. Varen watched Lena like she was trying to solve a puzzle. The session began with formal talks about trade routes and border zones. Boring stuff, routine. But then something changed. An emergency message came in. It flashed across the screens in the room. A distress signal from a nearby colony world. Something had gone wrong. The planet was under attack, not by pirates, not by rebels, by something unknown. The message cut off mid-transmission. Silence filled the room. Then voices rose. Questions, accusations, fears. Someone asked, "Could this be the Zalari?" Another said, "Or the Varn." No one knew. Then Lena stood up. The room turned to her. She waited a moment, letting the noise die down. Then she said, "We don't know what it is, but we can help." Ktharzek frowned. "How?" Jake stood beside her. "We've been tracking unusual energy readings near that system. We sent a probe weeks ago. We didn't say anything because we weren't sure what we were seeing." Varen narrowed her eyes. "You had information and didn't share it?" Lena held her gaze. "We didn't want to raise false alarms. But now," Jake said, "we have reason to believe this might be connected to a larger pattern." He tapped his wrist device. A holographic display appeared in the center of the room. It showed data, movement patterns, energy spikes, strange signals bouncing through deep space. "This isn't random," Lena said. "Something is moving through the outer systems. Something big." Ktharzek stood, his tail curled behind him. "If this is true," he said, "then we must act." Varen looked at Lena. "Why tell us now?" Lena answered without hesitation. "Because this is bigger than any one species. If we don't work together, we all lose." There was a long pause. Then Ktharzek gave a slow nod. "Then let us see if Earth walks as boldly as it speaks." Later, on a secure channel, a message was sent from Concordia Station to Earth. It read, "Contact confirmed. First phase, complete. Predators are watching. Second phase begins soon." On Earth, the message was received by a man named Alan Ross. He sat in a dark room filled with glowing screens and quiet machines. He read the message once. Then he smiled. "Well," he said to no one in particular, "looks like they're doing just fine." Outside the window, the sky was clear. Somewhere far away, humanity had taken its next step, and the galaxy was starting to listen. The meeting room was quiet after the message came through. The holographic display still floated in the air, showing the strange energy patterns that Jake had pulled up. No one spoke for a few moments. Then Catharzek stood up. His golden armor caught the light as he moved. "If what you say is true," he said, "then this threat must be dealt with quickly." Viren watched Lena closely. "You say this has been happening before. Why didn't Earth warn us sooner?" Lena met her gaze without flinching. "We wanted to make sure we weren't wrong. We've seen too many false alarms lead to wars." Jake added, "We didn't want to scare anyone for nothing." Catharzek let out a low growl. "That is not your choice to make." Lena didn't look away. "Maybe not, but we're here now, and we have data." She tapped her wrist device again. The display changed. New maps appeared. They showed more than just the recent readings. They showed years of movement across the outer systems, patterns that no one else had noticed. "This isn't new," she said. "It's been building for a long time." Viren leaned forward. "You've been watching us." Lena nodded. "We had to. If we were going to come here, we needed to understand what was really happening." There was another silence. Then Viren gave a small smile. "You are not like other species," she said. "You don't ask for favors, you show what you know." Jake crossed his arms. "Because we're not here to take. We're here to help." Catharzek looked at both of them for a long time. Then he sat back down. "We will send scouts," he said. "But if this proves to be nothing, there will be consequences." Lena gave him a respectful nod. "Fair enough." Later that night, Lena and Jake sat alone in their quarters on Concordia Station. The room was small but clean. A window looked out into space, showing the stars beyond. Jake stared out at them for a while before speaking. "They're still not sure about us," he said. Lena sat on the edge of the bed. "They won't be for a while." He turned to her. "Do you think we did the right thing showing them all that data?" She thought for a moment. "Yes. If we want to earn their trust, we can't hide things." Jake sighed. "I guess. But some of that stuff we weren't supposed to know." She smiled slightly. "Well, we do now." He shook his head. "Alan is going to kill us when he finds out." Alan Ross was back on Earth. He ran the quiet side of Earth's space program, the part no one talked about. The satellites that watched everything, the probes that went places no one knew about. Lena and Jake had worked with him for years. He trusted them, but even he hadn't known how much they had found. Jake looked at her. "Do you think we're moving too fast?" She looked out the window again. "No. I think we're just starting." The next morning, the council met again. This time, the mood was different, more serious, tense. Tharzek arrived first, followed by Viren. Others came in slowly, talking in hushed voices. When everyone was seated, the leader of the council, an old alien named Drelak, called the session to order. "We have reviewed the information provided by Earth's representatives," he said, "and we have sent scouts to the affected system." He paused. "Their report has arrived." A screen lit up behind him. The image showed a ruined colony world. Ships lay broken on the surface. Buildings were burned or torn apart. There was no sign of life. Jake felt his stomach tighten. Then the screen changed. This time it showed something, moving in the dark, something large, fast, not clearly visible, but it was there. Drelak's voice was calm, but serious. "We do not know what this is, but it is real." There was silence. Then Catharzek stood again. "We must act." Viren spoke next. "We need to know more." She turned to Lena and Jake. "You have studied this longer than anyone. What do you believe this is?" Lena took a breath. She stood up. "We don't know exactly," she said, "but we've seen signs of something like this before, out near the edge of mapped space." Jake stepped beside her. "We believe it may be connected to an old signal," he said. "One we picked up a few years ago, faint, repeating like a beacon." Lena continued. "We think someone or something is calling it." There was a ripple through the room. Drelak frowned. "Calling what?" Lena looked at each of the leaders. "In turn, a force," she said. "Something that moves through the dark, that takes worlds, leaves nothing behind. Jake added. And if it keeps coming, it won't stop at one planet. Silence fell again. Then Ktharzek gave a sharp nod. Then we prepare. Varen looked at Lena. You have more data? Lena nodded. Yes. Jake tapped his wrist again. Another display appeared. This one showed a map of the outer systems. Red dots marked areas where strange activity had been recorded. This is what we've found so far, Lena said. We believe these points are connected. Varen studied the map carefully. Then she looked at Drelak. This changes everything, she said. Drelak agreed. Yes, we must act together. For the first time, the council was not arguing. They were listening. Later in private, Varen met with Lena and Jake again. You surprised them again, she said. Lena smiled. Good. Varen tilted her head. You are not what I expected. Jake raised an eyebrow. What did you expect? She walked toward the window. Someone weak. Someone who begged for a place here. She turned back. Instead, you brought knowledge, strength, truth. Jake smirked. Guess we're not like most diplomats. No, Varen said. You are not. There was a pause before she asked, Why are you really here? Lena looked at her. To help. Varen narrowed her eyes. Is that all? Lena held her gaze. We also want to learn, to protect our world, and maybe one day to stand with you, not below you. Varen studied her for a long moment. Then she gave a small nod. I believe you, she said. Jake exhaled. That's good, I was getting tired of proving ourselves. Varen smiled slightly. You are not done yet. Lena looked out the window. The stars were still there. Quiet. Watching. No, she said. We're not. Back on Earth, Alan. Ross read the latest message from Concordia Station. It read, Council is moving. They're taking the threat seriously. They're starting to see us as partners. He read it twice. Then he smiled. Well, he said softly, looks like they're doing better than we hoped. Outside, the sky was clear. Somewhere far away, humanity had taken another step, and the galaxy was starting to listen more closely. The council had agreed to act. That was a first. Usually it took weeks of arguing before they could agree on anything. But this time the fear was real. The threat was clear. Still, action was not simple. Each species had its own way of doing things. Some wanted to send warships. Others wanted to hide. A few wanted to run. Lena and Jake watched from their seats as the leaders argued. Ktharzek stood tall and spoke loudly, calling for immediate force. Varen stayed calm, asking questions, trying to find a path forward. Lena leaned toward Jake. They're scared. He nodded. Yeah. And they don't know what to do. She looked at the screen showing the ruined colony world again. We can help them. Jake gave her a small smile. We already are. But she shook her head. Not enough. Before he could answer, Drelak called for silence. The room slowly quieted. The council will vote, he said. Do we send a joint force to investigate further? A few voices rose in agreement. Others stayed silent. Then Lena stood up. All eyes turned to her. We don't need to vote, she said. We already have what you need. There was a pause. Ktharzek narrowed his eyes. What are you saying? Jake stepped beside her. We've been preparing for this. We sent a probe ahead. We didn't tell anyone because we weren't sure what we'd find. Varen tilted her head. You knew this might happen. Lena nodded. We saw signs. We followed them. And we found something. She tapped her wrist device again. Another display appeared in the center of the room. This one showed a deep space image. Something large floated in the dark. It was not a ship. It was not a planet. It was something else. This is what we found, Jake said. Out beyond the outer systems. The room fell silent. What is it? Someone asked. Lena looked at the screen. We don't know exactly, but we think it's connected to the signal we picked up years ago. Jake added, It's old, maybe older than any of our species. Varen studied the image closely. You believe this is what destroyed the colony? Lena met her gaze. We think so, or something like it. Catharzek growled low. Then we destroy it. No, Lena said quickly. We study it first. That earned more murmurs. You would risk everything to learn? Catharzek asked. Yes, Jake said, because if we don't understand it, we can't stop it. Silence followed. Then Varen spoke. You have more data? Lena nodded. Yes. We recorded energy patterns, movement, signals. She tapped again. More images came up. Charts, readings, strange pulses that repeated over and over. This isn't random, she said. Something is sending these signals. Something is watching. Jake finished. And if we go in guns blazing, we might make it angry. More silence. Then Drelak spoke. You ask us to trust you. Lena looked at him. We're not asking for trust. We're giving you facts. Catharzek stared at her for a long time. Then he sat back down. I will hear your plan, he said. Later, in a private meeting room, Lena and Jake sat across from Varen and Catharzek. They were not alone. Other representatives had joined them, a mix of species, all leaders. Lena laid out the plan. We send a team, she said, not just humans. A joint team, scientists, diplomats, soldiers. Catharzek frowned. You want to take predators into the unknown with prey? Jake crossed his arms. We're not prey. Viren watched him carefully. You are not like others. No, Lena said. We're not, she continued. We need to work together. If this thing is what we think it is, then no one species can handle it alone. Catharzek let out a low growl. I do not like working with others. Jake smirked. Tough. This isn't about liking. It's about surviving. Varen leaned forward. How do you know this will work? Lena smiled slightly. We don't, but we've done it before. Varen raised an eyebrow. On Earth? Lena nodded. Different enemies, same idea. We learned how to work with people who didn't trust each other. We learned how to talk before we fought. Catharzek grunted. Your kind talks too much? Jake grinned. Only when it works. There was a pause. Then Varen gave a slow nod. I will support this. Catharzek looked at her. You trust them? She looked at Lena and Jake. Not fully, but I believe they are telling the truth. Jake said, That's more than most give us. Catharzek looked at both of them again. Then he stood. I will send my best warriors, he said. If this is real, then I must see it myself. Lena stood. Thank you. He gave her a sharp look. Do not thank me yet. We may all die. Jake shrugged. Better with friends than alone. Back on Earth, Alan Ross read another message from Concordia Station. It read, Council has agreed to joint mission. First step into deeper space. They are starting to see us as equals. Alan sat back in his chair. He looked at the stars outside his window. They're moving fast, he said to himself. Behind him, a younger officer asked, Should we be worried? Alan shook his head. No, they're doing exactly what we hoped. The officer frowned. You really think they can pull this off? Alan smiled. They already are. The mission was set. A small fleet formed near Concordia Station. Ships from different species. Humans worked alongside aliens. Some still looked unsure. Others kept their distance. But they were there. Lena and Jake walked through the docking bay, checking final preparations. Jake looked around. This is actually happening. Lena smiled. Yeah, we did it. He nudged her. Don't get used to it. She laughed. Too late. They climbed aboard the lead ship. It wasn't human. It belonged to the Thal Corps. Sleek, fast, quiet. Inside, they found Varen waiting. You are ready? She asked. Lena nodded. Always. Jake gave a thumbs up. Born ready. Varen gave a small smile. You are strange. Jake grinned. That's why you like us. She didn't deny it. As the ship lifted off, the station grew smaller behind them. They moved past the moon, past the last satellites, into deep space. Stars stretched endlessly around them. Somewhere far away, something waited, something ancient, something dangerous. But this time humanity was not running. This time they were going to meet it head-on, and they were not alone. The ship moved through deep space, silent and fast. Stars passed by like distant lights on a dark sea. Inside, the crew worked quietly. Some were human, most were not. Lena sat near the front, watching the screen. The ancient signal was getting stronger, closer. Jake leaned against the wall beside her. You okay? He asked. She didn't look away from the screen. Yeah. He raised an eyebrow. You always say that before something bad happens. She gave a small smile. Maybe I'm just used to it. Jake pushed off the wall and stood next to her. We're not alone this time, she nodded. That helps. Behind them, Varen walked into the room. Her violet skin looked darker under the dim lights. She moved with quiet grace, her white hair pulled back. The others are ready, she said. They do not all trust this mission. Jake crossed his arms. Not many ever do. Varen looked at Lena. Do you believe we are going to find what you think we will? Lena took a breath. I hope not. But I think we are. Varen studied her for a moment. Then she nodded. Then let us see what waits in the dark. Hours later, the fleet reached the edge of known space. There was nothing there, no planets, no stars, just silence. And then the signal came again, stronger than before. It pulsed through the air like a heartbeat. Lena looked at the readings. It's coming from below us. Jake frowned. Below? There's nothing but empty space. But then the sensors picked up something else, a shape, large, dark, hidden. The lead ship slowed. All ships followed. Then the darkness shifted. Something massive rose from the void. It was not a planet. It was not a ship. It was something else. Varen whispered, What is it? Lena shook her head. I don't know. Jake stared at the screen. Whatever it is, it knows we're here. The signal changed. It became louder, sharper, like a voice trying to speak. Cathar Zek's voice came over the comms. We should leave now. Lena tapped the mic. No, not yet. Jake looked at her. Are you sure about this? No, she said. But if we run now, we'll never understand it. Jake sighed. Fine. But if we die, I'm blaming you, she smirked. Wouldn't expect anything else. Back on Earth, Alan Ross watched the live feed from deep space. He sat alone in the command center. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of machines. His assistant walked in. They're close, he said. Alan nodded. I can see. The assistant hesitated. Should we warn them? Alan looked at the screen. The image showed the massive shape in space. Dark. Silent. No, he said. Let them finish what they started. The assistant frowned. Even if it kills them? Alan looked out the window at the stars. If they make it back, he said, then Earth will finally have a place among the stars. He turned back to the screen. And if they don't? He paused. Then we'll keep going without them. On the ship, Lena worked quickly. She sent out a message in every known language. A greeting. A question. Who are you? There was no answer at first. Then the shape pulsed again. This time, it was different. It responded. Not with words. With light, patterns formed across its surface. Symbols, numbers, ideas. Jake watched closely. It's trying to talk. Lena nodded. Yes, but not like us. Viren stepped forward. This is old. Older than any of our species. Ktharzek growled. It should not be here. Lena ignored him. She focused on the patterns, Slowly, she began to understand. "It's not a weapon," she said. "It's a message." Jake blinked. "A message?" She pointed at the symbols. "It's sending knowledge, history, warnings." Jake looked at her. Warnings about what? Before she could answer, the message changed. The shape pulsed once more. Then it showed something new. A war across galaxies. A force that came from the dark, destroying everything in its path. Lena's breath caught. "It's not just watching us." "What, is it?" Jake asked. She looked at him. "It's waiting." "For what?" Varen asked. Lena looked at the screen again. "For someone to be ready." Jake ran a hand through his hair. "Well, we're not ready." "No," Lena agreed, "but maybe now we can start preparing." Back at the council chamber on Concordia Station, word spread fast. The humans had made contact. Not with enemies, not with weapons, but with something older than any known race. And they had come back alive. Tharzek stood in front of the gathered leaders. "They faced the dark," he said. "And they did not run." Viren added, "They brought knowledge, truth." Draylak looked at the others. "Earth has earned its place." There was a pause. Then one by one the leaders stood, not in anger and respect. Back on the ship, Lena and Jake looked at each other. "We did it," Jake said. Lena smiled. "We're not done yet." He groaned. "Of course not." She looked out the window. The stars were still there. Quiet. Watching. She whispered, "We've only just begun." Jake put a hand on her shoulder. "Then let's see where this takes us." Outside, the universe stretched endlessly ahead, and for the first time Earth was walking into it not as prey, but as diplomats, as explorers, as equals.